Welcome to Look and Learn Beginner's Level for Guitar. My name is Craig and I've been a professional musician now for nearly 20 years. Getting started is always the hardest part, but with the help of Look and Learn you'll be well on your way to your first gig. Throughout the 10 beginners lessons you'll not only learn how to play chords and riffs with the aid of FretCam, but you'll also learn about your instrument, its features and how they work. Later in the series we'll be taking a look at amplifiers, electric guitars and other really cool stuff like effects pedals. Now you're a registered member of Look and Learn, you have access to some really handy features on the Look and Learn website. At any time you can access our online tuner, so you always have a perfect reference to tune your instrument to. You can also play your exercises with the Look and Learn band so you can feel what it's like to play along with real musicians. There's also a forum for you to register any questions online and have our worldwide community of guitar players answer your questions and share their own experiences with you. There are also tabs that you can print off for the chords that you'll be learning. A tab is a diagram of the chords showing the strings, the frets and finger placement. These will also help you to remember the names and finger positioning relative to these chords. So grab your guitar if you haven't already and let's get started. Firstly, let's have a look at a few of the features of your guitar. For this demonstration I'm using an acoustic guitar. You may have an electric guitar, but either way they both have the same basic features. At one end is the bridge, and this is where the strings are attached to the body. Follow the strings down the neck, which is this long bit here, to the other end where we have the nut, which is where the strings rest. And finally, the tuning pegs that enable the strings to be tuned. You'll also notice that you have 6 strings on your guitar, well hopefully, and the names of the strings are E, A, D, G, B and E. This is the bottom E. This is A, this is D, this is G, this is B, and this is the top E. You'll need to be in tune with me before we can go any further. Now you may already have a tuner or a pitch pipe that you can use, but for those of you who don't, there are a couple of ways we can get in tune. Firstly, the Look and Learn website has a built-in tuner. Just click on the note and tune. This is a great way to get an accurate starting note. This is E. Now, you'll notice up here you have 6 tuning pegs, and the first one, this one here, is connected to the bottom E string. Now depending on which way you turn the peg will determine the pitch. If you turn it this way, the note will get higher, or the other way, and it will get lower. Your aim is to listen to my note and match it. Right, this is E. Now try and get as close as you can by adjusting the first peg up or down. Now once you've done that, we can tune the rest of the strings of the guitar to the E string, and here's how we do that. On the top of the neck is the fretboard, and you'll notice these metal strips across it. They're called frets. These are designed to change the pitch of the note by simply moving up and down the neck. So the further we go up the neck, the higher the note, and then back down again. Let's move up to the 5th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this one here. And the note that you're hearing now is A, which is also the same as the 2nd string. And that should sound like this. Now if the A string is slightly out of tune, by holding down the E string on the 5th fret, take your picking hand and tune the A string. And it should sound like this. Now if you need some more time, simply press pause, and once you're in tune, proceed. Once your A string is in tune, we can move up to the 5th fret on the A string, and this note is D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which is the same as the 3rd string, or the D string. So by turning the 3rd tuning peg, you'll be able to match the D note like this. Now we have the D string in tune, we can go up to the 5th fret on the D string to make the note G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, simply adjust the 4th tuning peg to match the sound of the G string like this. Now to tune the B string, or the 5th string, we have to place our finger on the 4th fret of the G string. 1, 2, 3, 4. This note is B. Again, we just make the adjustment to the 5th tuning peg to match the sound as we play the G string to create the B note. Making sure we play both strings together to ensure they sound the same. Okay, once we have the B string in tune, we can move on to the 6th or the top E string. Again, we place our finger on the 5th fret on the B string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this note is E. Make sure you are matching the sound you make with your finger on the 5th fret on the B string. If your strings sound like mine, E, A, D, G, B, and E, then we're ready to play our first chord. If not, then that's okay, you may not get it right the first time. Simply return to the beginning of this section and start again. It's important to note that this is not a race, so take your time, and once you're in tune we can continue. Okay, let's begin by learning our first chord. This is the E major chord, and it sounds like this. Now if you've never played a chord before in your life, then this is going to be a challenge. Again, take your time. Start by wrapping your hand around the neck. Make sure your thumb is around, and using the tips of your fingers, these bits here, place your first finger on the G string on the 1st fret. Your second finger on the A string on the 2nd fret, and your third finger on the D string on the 2nd fret. Now strum down over all the strings. Now how does that sound? Does it sound like this? Or maybe like this? First thing you may need to check is your fingertips. Do you have string marks on the tips of your fingers or further around? It's a telltale sign whether or not you're using the correct technique. In the same way that you make a fist, you'll notice that your fingers curl around. This is the finger shape we're after. Not this, not flat fingers like that, but around like that. So let's try again. First finger on the G string on the 1st fret, second finger on the A string on the 2nd fret, and the third finger on the D string on the 2nd fret. Now, how does that sound? If you're still struggling with this, then that's okay. It's not easy, and you will experience some discomfort in your fingers, but you'll get used to this. Don't let this stop you from reaching your potential. You know what they say, no pain, no gain. It's important to note that throughout this series there will be times when you'll need to pause and return to the appropriate spot on the video. So if you take your time and move through this series slowly, you'll find it easy to achieve results later down the track. With Look and Learn, we'll end every lesson with a simple but impressive exercise. And what I'm about to show you is something that is not only relatively simple, but is something that will impress all your friends. Using some of the elements of the E major chord we've just learnt, we can play what is referred to as a riff. Now riffs are very common in the guitar world, and this is one of the granddaddies of them all. Often used by blues guitarists like Chuck Berry. He was huge in the 50s and 60s and has influenced a lot of great players over the years. He was a bit of a crazy dude as well. This is a 2-finger exercise that uses the first 2 strings, the E and the A. Now by placing your first finger on the A string on the 2nd fret, right there, we start strumming the bottom 2 strings, the E and the A, like this. Now take your third finger and place it on the A string on the 4th fret, like so. You may not be able to reach it with your third finger, so use your 4th finger. Now when you alternate between the 2 fretted notes like this, you have one of the most common rock riffs ever used. Every guitarist has learnt this at some stage of their life. So just go at your own pace with this. You can increase the speed of the riff as you get more comfortable. So show your mates what you've learnt. I'm sure they'll be impressed. And if you've been able to do this after just one lesson, imagine what you can achieve over the whole Look and Learn series. Good luck, practice hard, and again, if there's any stage you're struggling, simply return to the beginning. I look forward to seeing you back for some more real cool stuff in the next Look and Learn lesson.